Okay, what's going on, guys? It's Willie Tone Zone here, back with another video, and today we are going to make a really punchy kick using Superior Drummer. Okay, so I have Superior Drummer instantiated on a track, a MIDI track, with a little bit of mixing going through it. So let me take you through that before we open up Superior Drummer. I have a multi-band compressor doing some stuff here. I set the low to 98.3 hertz and the highs to 1.8 kilohertz, and I drove the inputs of those. So it's driving into the compressor, and then the compressor is working on the audio to squash it, tame it, etc. So those are the values there, and then I'll show you the thresholds that we got and the different attack and release times. So the low end, I have a little bit of a faster attack. I mean, it's kind of slow, I guess. But then the release time is very slow, 300 and something milliseconds we got here, right? And then the mid-range is about similar, kind of similar. And the high end is kind of grabbed faster. So you can copy those values if you want. It's up to you. And then here are the thresholds, which are default. And then the above is actually messed around with a little bit. So put the decibels a bit down, and all the ratios are 1.75. So you can work with that. It's some of these values don't matter as much. It's more the attack and release that you should be concerned about, and what frequency you're driving the inputs at. That's pretty important. So move on from there to the EQ. So the EQ, I have a little bit of low end scooping there. And then I have a frequency notch at 178 hertz. And this is used to separate the kick and the snare. It's not needed, but it's just a cool little technique if you want it to kind of separate better. And then we have a little scoop in the mid range, just kind of general scoop, about 1.5 dB, and then a roll off at around 16. Well, that's not 16, 15.6 kilohertz, right? So that kind of just puts the drums in a sort of range and keeps it contained so it's not too sizzly or boomy. And you could use this drum glue compressor as sort of a limiter or a transient tamer to keep it all kind of together, right? So all right, let's get into Superior Drummer. Oh, I should probably show you my master bus. So the master bus kind of has a similar EQ to the drum thing going. You can see my voice going through it, and it's cutting out that 170 hertz, that little tiny notch. And I have a mastering gentle limiter, which is just another glue compressor that's keeping things from clipping. So let's look at Superior Drummer. And I'm going to make this a kind of multi-part video. So we're going to start with the kick, and then the next video I'll talk about the snare, and then we'll do the toms and then cymbals. So we'll kind of organize it like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is hear this kick, right? Doesn't sound that great. To me, this doesn't sound like it would be like a nice punchy like metal kick, right? So let's take this kick, and I'm gonna find like a starting point that's better. So let's see, we have, for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna keep it Superior Drummer library of kicks, because if I use modern metal, then, you know, some people might not have that, and it'll be like fucked, right? So let's start with this, not this one, but the smaller Pearl Masterworks. The 18 by 22 inch. This one's pretty good. This one sounds nice. Right? That's a nice starting point for a kick. Now, what I'm going to do is layer another kick on top of that to give it more of a like punchy sound. And there's actually a kick called Punchy Kick that I'm going to use. And you just scroll all the way down to the bottom. And it's the fourth one right there. That's Punchy Kick. It's so like boom, meaty. But as you can tell, when we added that kick, it's a little too overpowering to our old kick, or sorry, our main kick. So we need to drop this level down a bit. And to hear them together, just click open stack like that. So I still need to drop it even more, I would say. So basically, I'm trying to get the front end of this kick, the punchy kick, and then the room of the main kick, and we're combining those together. So that's sounding pretty decent, right? And then what we're gonna do is add another kick for like sub. We already have a lot of bass, but I want like kind of like a, not that, but like a mid type of 909 kick thing. I had it, I just don't know where it went. Definitely not that. Something like this. It's kind of straight to the point. And it has that. I'm gonna add it in here, and I'm gonna lower it quite far. Now we have this monster kick, right? That sounds pretty sweet, but we have to make some more adjustments to make it more like huge. We're gonna mess with tuning, we're gonna mess with envelope and more pitch and stuff. So first, try and adjust these envelopes to make it kind of fit together more. So this kick, that kick can stay sustained like that. We might do like a general envelope where we grab the release and pull it back and it'll affect all of them. But I'm gonna go through each one and just kind of. So this one's pretty fucking mean, and I'm gonna draw back the release a bit so we get less of that like boomy resonance after it hits. Maybe a bit more. Oh my god, I can't do this. There we go. Okay, there we go. So now we got a nice straight to the point, good kick, and then this, I would say, kind of similar idea. Just want a little bit of low end. That's gonna keep it consistent. Now that sounds good. Now, to make it even more like unique and massive, we need to mess with tuning. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of adjust this kick and fiddle around with the tuning to kind of find a sweet spot. It's a little bit too much. It's kind of still too low. That sounds pretty good. And then if you do another thing here, pitch effects, you can actually do a pitch change, and it's kind of over time, and it creates this like nice effect. Also, I forgot to mention about this processing algorithm. So this is supposed to make your sound higher quality, but sometimes it can ruin it. So this is like where you have to use your ears, and kind of makes sense because sometimes if you process it, it'll like kind of change the sound of the kick, but it'll like overlap another kick. This is something you just have to kind of fiddle around with. So I'll hit process and we'll hear how it sounds. So I actually like how it's processed, and we'll hear it all together. That could be pulled back a bit actually, but and now, yeah, I think the tuning, yeah, the pitch down here was put down a little bit. I like the general like sound of that kick, so that's good. And then we still got that for our main kind of acoustic sounding kick, and then this, which I'm also gonna tune, but I'm gonna tune it pretty far down actually because it's sub. I want it to be like sub kick, like, yeah, around there. And you can see that these tones are almost the same. Actually, they are the same. it's hitting the same note to my ears at least. Even this can be like changed down to match or up. You see, when you process it, it kind of sends it to the overheads and it makes it sound different. It makes it sound more, I guess, round and less like in your face. Can be good. You have your kicks, you know, work on certain things, right? You have one for the room, you have one for the punchy, you have one for the sub. It all works together and makes your own unique monster kick sound. So and that sounds pretty good. I'm liking that. I was gonna mess with the pitch on the sub kick here, just a little bit more. And now it'll sound like this. Now, if we need some context here, we can have a little MIDI clip. To me, that's a pretty good starting point. So we'll leave it at that, and I'll see you in the next video with the snare drum.